Yo, what's good? Angry Old Hoops fan, sport and fitness brands, Michael Jordan fans are the best, uncommon sense, uncut hoops. I make these videos for you guys. I don't really need to have a channel going or get a bunch of views and subscribers. Not going for that at all. I want you guys to have all the ammunition you need. Some things that I just don't hear brought up enough or never mentioned, and some things that I did the research myself, and I'm thinking, if I can find this out, why aren't other people, not you guys per se, I'm talking big networks, they got teams of people researching this stuff, but some impressive things that Michael Jordan has done that other players just haven't done that I don't hear talking about. Number one, I brought up in the show about leading the league in multiple categories in the same season. Michael Jordan did that 3 times. The most was Wilt Chamberlain. He did it in points and rebounds. Jordan did it in points and steals. And Michael Jordan was the only player on all that list. I mean, Chris Paul did it, Dwight Howard, John Stockton did it twice. But Michael Jordan was the only player to win a championship and led the league in 2 of the 5 major stat categories. And that was in '93. That was my rebuttal to Nick Wright, is that year specifically, and he didn't even win the MVP. Okay, another thing that I don't hear mentioned at all is in Michael Jordan's entire playoff career, 179 games, how many times did an opponent score 40 points or more? One player in 179 games. Unheard of. I looked at the list, and none of the other all-time greats have they don't even have 8. 8, I think, was the other lowest number. One player, it was Charles Barkley in the '93 finals. I think it was Game 3. He had 42, and Michael Jordan actually matched him in that game. Also had 42. Phoenix won that game. All right. Another thing that I don't really ever hear talking about is Michael Jordan in his entire playoff career in 37 series only lost once in which he led. Once. If he had any lead, 1-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2, whatever the lead is, he won every series except the '89 Eastern Conference Finals. He was up 2-1, or the Bulls were up 2-1, and the Pistons won 3 straight. Pippen took that elbow in Game 6. I'm sure the Bulls probably would have won that game, but we'll never know. But anyway, that's another one I never hear mentioned. That Michael Jordan only ever lost 1 lead ever. I mean, that's incredible. I looked it up, and all the other all-time greats, nobody could come close to that. I think Bill Russell, they lost the 1 lead against St. Louis in '58 or something when he was hurt. I don't know. But another thing that I never hear mentioned is Michael Jordan went on a stretch. The Bulls, from Game 2 of 1991 finals through the '96 finals, Game 3. That was 19-game stretch. The Bulls won 15 of 19. No other team in NBA history has ever done that. So in other words, after they dropped the first game to Lakers in the '91 finals, they won the next 4. They beat Portland 4-2 in '92, beat Phoenix in 4-2 in '93. So that's 4-4-4. That's 12-4 right there on that. And then they were up Seattle 3-0 in '96 to make it 15-4. No one, not even the Russell Celtics, won 15 of 19 finals games. Not the Spurs, but their weak competition in the 2000s. Nobody's ever went on a run like that. And another run that I looked this up too, no team, no franchise has ever done this. They won 9 out of 10 road games in the finals. The best stretch, I think, the next best was the Spurs, went 7-3. Again, they're playing like the '03 Nets, the '99 Knicks, the '03 Nets. Who was the other one? The '05 Pistons, I think. '07 Cavaliers. I mean, Pistons '05 probably the best one of that bunch. But that's some pretty weak competition. The Lakers also had some weak competition. Another thing also is there's only been 7 franchises ever. I don't have it in front of me. I wish I would have had it, but 7 franchises ever to beat both number 1 seeds in the same playoff run. Michael Jordan did it, the Bulls in 93. They beat the Knicks, and then they beat Phoenix. Both were number 1 seeds in 93. LeBron James had a chance to do it in 2014, 2015, and 2017. In 14, they beat Indiana. Miami was a 2. Indiana was the 1 seed. They beat them, but they lost to the Spurs, who were the 1 seed out west. In 15, it was when he was on Cleveland, they beat the Hawks, but lost to Golden State. And then in 17, I think it was Boston they beat, it was the 1 seed, and then they lost to Golden State, in 5 or whatever. But he's had 3 cracks at doing it. Jordan only had 1 crack at doing it, and he did it. And not every year you're going to have that opportunity, because you'd have to have, you're the 2 seed and you beat the 1, and then the other conference, the 1 seed has to come, has to win. That doesn't always happen. In fact, it probably happens half the time, maybe. But yeah, it's only been done 7 times. I know Kobe and Shaq did it twice, in 2001 and 2002. They beat the number 1 seed in both conferences. These are just some of the things that I just don't ever hear brought up. And maybe you guys don't think it carries much weight. Okay, that's fine. But I'm at least going to get it out to you guys. Another thing that I really don't understand what nobody's talking about, when people want to bring up Michael Jordan's 80s competition and why he lost to the 80s and all this stuff, just say this. Michael Jordan's team was not very good. So you expect a 7 or an 8 seed to beat these juggernaut teams. Unrealistic. In Michael Jordan's career, against the teams that beat him, the 7 of them, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, and 95 Orlando, those were the 7 years he lost in the playoffs. The win differential with those teams, at least regular season record, on average, was 15.85. Okay, that was the most of any of the all-time greats by double. I think LeBron was like 7.5. Okay, Jordan's more than double that. So when he's playing these teams, when he's 38 and 44 going up against a 59 Bucks team, that's a 21 win differential. Okay, that's ridiculous to think they're going to beat that team. 87, they were a 30 win team. Now I know Jordan wasn't there to affect the seeding in 86, so I know I can already hear the pushback. Well, Jordan wasn't there, that's why the record wasn't very good. Same thing with 95. Even if you take out the 86 and the 95 seasons, take those out because Jordan wasn't there all year. He was there about a quarter of the season for each one. Even taking those out, it's still like 12.8 or something like that, the win differential. He's playing against teams that are just on another level. The closest he came was in 88, they played the Pistons. The Pistons were 4 games better than they were. And I think also in 90, the Pistons were 59 wins and the Bulls were 55 wins. Well, in both those cases, Detroit had home court advantage. And in 88, they went all the way to the finals, almost won Game 7 in the finals, if not for Isaiah's injury. And, it was a questionable call. And then in 1990, Pippen had the migraine game. They lost in 7, but the Bulls won all their home games in that series. They just didn't have home court advantage. But anyway, the win differential of teams that beat them, not played or teams they beat. I'm strictly talking about teams that beat the Bulls. It's the biggest win differential of any of the, top 12 or 15 players that everybody always says is the top 10 or whatever. Not even close. Elijah Wan, I think, was around 7.5 also. LeBron was like 7.5. But, yeah, Jordan was 15.85 win differential. So I did another video about this specifically. That's a good one to watch about Jordan's 80s competition. You can just throw it right back at people when they ask, why didn't you win the 80s? Because these teams were ridiculous. For example, Cleveland Cavaliers in 88. They were 42 and 40, right? 500 team. Well, they won 11 of their last 13 games going into, they made the playoffs because they won 11 of 13 down the stretch. Beat some good teams to do it. They won 15 of the last 17 home games. So this team's red hot, and that's who the Bulls played in 88. I mean, every year, that's the way it was. Like the 89 Pistons had won 25 straight home games, I believe, going into playing the Bulls in that series. So that was basically half the regular season, the first round Eastern Conference Finals, and into the Bowl Series. So, again, these are the kinds of things, whenever somebody wants to, they go for the negatives about Michael Jordan. Oh, why didn't he win in the 80s? What did it? I want to give you guys this information right here. Okay? I want you to throw it right back in their face. Like, are you kidding? This is why. This is the deal for this and this and this. And anyway, so I'm going to keep making videos basically just for you guys. Keep fighting the good fight, man. We got to shut these guys up. LeBron's podcasting now, so obviously, the underground, as I call it, is gaining traction. So you guys keep doing your thing. I gravitated to your guys' channel because, my views align with your guys' pretty much. I woke up one day and all of a sudden LeBron James passed up Michael Jordan. I'm thinking, what? When did that happen? So, anyway, I'll have more to come. I hope you guys, if you get anything out of this and you can use anything at all, I'm glad to do it. All right.